Hello everyone, my name is Dwayne Lype. I have with great interest watched many religious debates and other seemingly tireless efforts on YouTube to try to make some sense of religion and church, and so I just wanted to put my own 2 cents worth and just let you know what one man feels about his own spirituality. I'm a pastor, planted a church recently, so obviously I have a perspective coming from a pastor's heart, but at the same time, before I'm a pastor, I'm a human being, and I'm a spiritual person, and I'm a Christian. I've been very discouraged, even with some of the videos I've watched from a Christian perspective that want to try to prove God scientifically, want to try to debate with atheists and people who don't believe in God and that don't believe in the church and that don't believe in the things of God. I think it's personally ludicrous to try to do that. I think it's a waste of time and effort. We base what we believe on faith. You can't force someone to have faith. You either believe in the God of the universe, the creator of all that we know, that we see, that we touch, that we know to be real, or you don't. So my few moments of diatribe today will not be to try to convince you that Christ is real, that we'll try to convince you that God is real. I do want to just tell you a little bit about my story. If you're interested, stay tuned. If not, there's 7 gazillion other videos on YouTube you could be watching. So I'm going to give you just a few minutes. We'll pick this up again. I'll bring a part 2 here before too long, and just want to let you know I am a little discouraged. You see, I believe that Christians today, let me back up. I'm uncomfortable with that term. Most people, especially unchurched, people who don't go to church, that don't claim to know Christ, that don't claim to believe in God, when they hear the word Christian, it's a very distasteful image that pops into their mind. That disturbs me, because I believe that people who know Christ ought to be light and salt in this world. In other words, we ought to make this world a better place because we're here. I believe that we ought to shine the light of Christ, and that sounds so religious, but let me tell you what I mean by that. We ought to point people to the cross. We ought to point people to who Jesus is, not to our particular political beliefs or our particular slant on the issues of the day. Yes, we need to be involved in political issues. We need to be involved in ecumenical activities. We need to be involved in civic duties. But when those activities take over and bear more weight in the minds of people who see us and hear us than the message of the cross, then we're wasting our time and efforts and energy. So that being said, I posted a blog on my MySpace, caused a little bit of stir, especially people who are coming to my church. It says, I don't want to be a Christian anymore. That's kind of what I want to tell you about right now. I'm a little frustrated with the term Christian. I'm a little frustrated with what that's caused people to believe, and to the image that's portrayed in people's minds of what a Christian is not a pleasant one. It's someone that in a lot of people's minds, when you hear the word Christian, you think someone that is holier, or tries to portray themselves to be holier than the rest of the world, that tries to portray themselves as a caste above everyone else in our social stature. Someone that hates homosexuals and hates sinners and hates all and carries hate in their heart for things that we don't agree with. Personally, I don't want to be attached to that group of people. I choose to be known as Christ's follower. And I'm just going to tell you what that means to me, and then we'll pick this up a little bit later. Someone who follows Christ is not a perfect man. I'd be the first to tell you that I'm a broken, messed up individual. I don't have my act together many days. I'm not the most spiritual man in the world. I love God with all my heart. I love His Word. I love His people. Sometimes I disappoint Him. Sometimes I disappoint myself. Sometimes I disappoint my family. Sometimes I disappoint my church. So does that disqualify me from being a Christian? Does that disqualify me from my religious beliefs because I'm an imperfect, fragile man? I don't think so. I think that's who Jesus came for. I think Jesus came for the imperfect, fragile people of this world who so desperately need direction, who need someone to hold them close when they fail, who need someone to point them the way to go. That's why I'm a Christ follower. People call me a leader in the church, and that's an honor. Such an honor when people call me pastor. I'd just soon be known as a person that did all he could to follow Christ. See, when Jesus was in the world, he spent a lot more time loving people, healing people, teaching people, than he did condemning people. He spent a lot more time serving people than he spent being served. In fact, one of the most beautiful pictures that I have of Christ is just moments before he knew, as creator of the universe, he knew that he was on his way to the cross of Calvary. He knelt at his disciples, his students' feet, and he held their feet and he washed them. I wonder if he knew that Judas had betrayed him at that point. I think he did. I wonder if he knew that in just a few hours Peter would deny that he even knew him. I think he did. But yet he knelt and he washed their feet. You know what that says to me? Was that even in my brokenness, even in the areas of my life that I'm messed up and I don't act right and I don't have the right attitude and I don't always exhibit the right action, Christ loves me and understands me, and He wants to make me into the man that He knows I can be. So anyway, I want to be a Christ follower. I want to be a man that even in my frailty, even in my brokenness, even in my weakness, follows Christ. Not trying to excuse sin, not trying to excuse misbehavior. I'm just simply acknowledging the fact that we probably all do misbehave from time to time, and we probably all sin from time to time. Not that I'm condoning it, not that I'm excusing it. Just trying to be a little real, a little transparent, and let you know that there's a Savior who suffered and bled and died for my brokenness, my messiness, my inconsistency. And for that I'm eternally grateful. Pastor Dwayne, we'll see you next time. God bless.